So this video is going to be a little bit different. Um, and, so by the way, sometimes I get nasty comments and I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if like people have too much to drink or something and they say things they don't mean to say, but if you don't have anything nice to say or, if you want to give criticism, that's fine. But you don't have to come all out with your claws out because I'm just going to delete you. I don't have any time for nasty comments. Look, if you're not somebody out there making these videos, it's a lot of work. It takes time. I got to edit it. It also takes a lot longer to do the job. And I try my best to explain things, but, I'm not always right. Nobody is. Nobody's perfect. So, anyways, I'll get off of that. But, it's just, I'm putting that out there. I do this because I try to have fun. So, I really don't care what anybody else thinks. I value people's opinions, but, only if they're not nasty. So anyways, like I said, this is going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to catch some crap from a few people, but that's okay. They're still my friends. We're going to pull the 7.25 out of here, and it's getting rebuilt. A lot of folks go to the 8-inch, the 8.8s. I'm totally stock. This is the right rear end for this thing, and it's what came in it, and it matches. Now, I'm not going to do the rebuild on this one myself. I normally do. However, first of all, it's got some parts in it that are not obtainable, or I call them unobtainium. They're made out of unobtainium, and there is a local place here. It's very well known in the Sun Valley area, which is, San Fernando Valley, not far from Burbank Airport, if you're familiar with the area. Hooper's rear ends, they've been around for a long time. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. I called them up, and they are certain that they can rebuild this rear end. And also, and I talked to the owner of Hooper's, Anthony. Sounds like a real good guy. I got a good feeling talking to him for a few minutes today. He said, yeah, they don't make gears for these. He said, but they're plentiful because everybody's yanking them out to go higher horsepower. So if you're going to stay stock, Jesus, can't talk as usual. If you're going to stay stock, you can rebuild these. There are parts available. He said all the bearings are available. The seals are available. I know the axle seals are available because I replaced those, but he said everything's available for it except for the gears. He said, but the used gears, there's plenty of gears out there that are in perfect shape. And I think that even these will be able to be reused. He seemed to think it wouldn't be a problem at all. And he quoted me a price that it's not even worth my time to rebuild it myself, and you got to get the contact pattern right. You got to get the shim right. You got to get the preload right. Look, I've done several rear ends before, but it's not like I do it every day. These guys do it every day. And for what they quoted me, I'm definitely just going to take it to them. So we're going to yank it out and throw it in the back of the truck and haul it on over there. Probably sometime this week. If I can get it out tonight, work's pretty busy, but it's staying light later. So, I can probably get this thing out tonight, and I find some time to drop it off this week. And hopefully, too, as long as they don't have a problem with it, I'll take some video at the shop there, and maybe even them opening up and inspecting it. And if we can get some information, maybe we can learn something. Because one of the things I'm not really too sure about, is when do you call a gear done or not? If it's not damaged or grooved or anything like that, which these don't appear to be, is it still okay? What's the tolerance? I'm sure I could probably read up on all that, but it'll be interesting to talk to them and learn that, because I'm used to just, you buy a ring and a pinion and you replace it. I've never really rebuilt a rear end that wasn't thrashed before. So anyways, that's enough rambling. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this thing yanked out of here. I think the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, and I've got transmission jack. I think I may strap that to the bottom of it as well. But I'm going to get it up in the air, get it suspended off of the frame rails. I'm going to pull all the gack off of it. The brake line, e-brake cables, drums, I think I'll probably leave the brakes on it for now, just because the backing plates, because you got to take the axles out to get those off. Yeah, you got to take the axles out to get those off. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to probably take that as a unit. But we'll do all that. We'll take the U-bolts off of both sides, and we'll probably drop the shackles in the rear, and we'll just back this baby. Right out of here. There's a few different ways to skin this cat, but I'm just going to do it the way that I think that it should go. So, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not doing the work myself, other than R&Ring it. But it might be interesting, and hopefully we'll learn something taking it over to Hooper's. And she's out. Solid hour. Probably took me an hour and a half. It is getting dark. But I was having a nice phone conversation with a friend of mine while I was doing it, so I was taking my time. Thanks, Dav, by the way. It was a good combo. So now I just checked. I can lift this thing up. It's so funny. I did the 14 bolt in the Chevy there. And, that thing, I had to put a lift point in the garage to get it in and out and everything. But this was not hard at all. I opted to pull the brakes off, pull the lines off of it. It was just easiest to do it that way. I went ahead and I stuck some rubber plugs in the lines. Let's see if I have some plugs for these wheel cylinders. If not, I actually have 2 sets of cylinders because Amazon screwed up and sent me 2. And they said keep the other 2, so I did. So I guess I don't care if those get dirt in them or not. But if I have plugs, I'll plug them up. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw it up in the pickup here. And I think I can probably do it myself. And we'll drive this thing on over to Hooper's maybe tomorrow. And also wanted to mention, didn't even drop the springs. Didn't need to. I was able to just finagle it out of there, no problem. All right, so we got updates. Got some of the parts in the ultrasonic here with some. It's kind of like CLR mixture. It seems to be knocking the rust off of this thing pretty well. Dropped the rear end off at Hooper's today. They were extremely busy, and there wasn't even a place to park, so I had to kind of drop the axle and run. So, I couldn't get any footage in there, and they weren't going to tear it open right there in front of me. I mean, this place, I couldn't believe it. It was hopping. However, I did talk to the owner when I was there. Totally cool guy. He just gave me a call, and he told me everything that doesn't surprise me. He said that the gears look absolutely fantastic. There's nothing wrong with them. He said they look as good as any other gears that he's seen. He said they're 283, which I knew already, but he said they're 283s, and he said he has a set on the shelf. So he said there's no need to replace them. He said they're in perfect shape. He said there's no reason to replace them. He said he could absolutely tell the thing had been sitting for a number of years because what had happened was the carrier bearings had rusted, and it looked like the races were actually spinning in the carrier cups, or in the race cups, which none of that surprised me. That's probably why it was making a whole bunch of noise. So nothing wrong with it. The axle splines look good. He said it's an absolute rebuildable rear end, no problem at all. They're going to get it all painted up and everything. He said his guy's a real stickler for that, because I asked him, I said, you guys paint it? He said, absolutely. He said it'll leave looking like showroom. So I'm just doing all the grunt work right now. So we went ahead and, like I said, we're doing that. I'm kind of flipping these every once in a while. They're coming out pretty clean. I went ahead and I did some undercoating work in here. I left the old stuff. I knocked what was loose, what wanted to come off. And I went ahead and sprayed this since I'm in here and there's room. Just got some undercoating sprayed in there. I just used that Rust-Oleum stuff. I used that on my truck, and it's held up really well. You can knock rattle can stuff all you want, but that stuff's pretty damn good these days. It's pretty amazing. But I did, like I said, the whole bottom of the body of my truck with that stuff, and boy, does it smell, and it stinks for a long time. It has something to do with the fact that it's rubberized. But yeah, we're just doing the little cleanup in here. I figure I might as well paint the plates. I got new U-bolts and nuts coming just because they've been on and off a couple times now. for $30. It was worth replacing them, so I got those are on their way. Brake hardware still looks fine. The shoes have got tons of life left on. I'm not going to replace nothing there. I'm just going to, the drums, everything's fine. We're just going to put it all back together. We're going to clean it up again and put it back together. And that's about it. So we still don't have the rear end yet. It is Sunday. I thought they would be done on Friday. I called them Friday afternoon. The bearings came in later than they expected. So anyways, they said Monday. So in the meantime, I got new U-bolts. There is two more. They're over by the car right now. I just wanted to show them though. But I did get new U-bolts for it. These are exactly the ones that it should have. Got them from CJ's. I think I ordered them on a Tuesday afternoon. I got them on a Wednesday morning. So I do like that about CJ's and Summit. You order it and you get it right away. So I did that. Got those. Like I said, it comes with 4 of them for like $37. You guys saw in the previous segment, I let these soak in the ultrasonic for a couple of hours with the CLR, and I mean they went right down to bare metal. It looked like I'd sandblasted them, so that's nice. I wish I had a sandblaster here at home, but I don't. So I tend to use the ultrasonic just because it does work with CLR in it. It will strip this down to bare metal. So I got these all painted up. I mean, they look brand new. Absolutely. They came out really nice. Very pleased. And then the U-bolts for the universal joint. I did order new ones, and they're not right. They're for 1310. I thought that it's a 1330 to 1310. I thought that's what this U-bolt is, and I'm looking at it, and this U-joint. The U-joint that's in this for the automatic transmission is a 1330 and 1330. So I could order the right ones, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with the U-bolts. It's just it didn't have the right hardware. It had one lock nut, and it had one regular nut. So I just, you know what? It's not even worth me sending those back. That thing was only like $9 or something for the pair. So I guess I got $9 worth of nuts here, which is stupid, but whatever. So I just stole the nuts off of there, and these are locking nuts. Some in the trade name, some people call them Boma locks from Bowman. But yeah, they're a crush type lock nut. So I did that. I had thrown these in the ultrasonic as well, and got these all cleaned up. While I was in it, I threw my adjusters in there because somebody had packed these things full of anti-seize and stuff, and it had dried out over time. So I don't usually put anything on the threads on these. I do put a little bit of grease in here usually, but I don't usually, I don't know. Maybe you should lube it. I prefer not to, because the problem is the brake dust gets into it and it just makes a slurry that makes it hard to turn. So I don't think that these are meant to be lubed, but I don't know. That's just the way I've always done it. So that's my opinion. You guys do what you want. So that's just a quick, had time to clean stuff up and get some new hardware. I'm glad I'm doing the U-bolts. One of them is bent. One of the old ones is bent. I got them right here. One of these is bent. Anyways, yeah, this one. It's time to replace it. So that's all we got right now. We'll see if it's ready on Monday. All right, so we're out here at Hooper's. I just picked up the 7.25. Got it in the back of the truck. Loaded it up. Got squared away. So we're out here. This is crazy busy road over here. I was lucky I got a parking spot, but here we are. That's the main office right there. And I didn't realize, but they actually do, you can actually bring your vehicle to them, and they do rear end work and axle work and stuff. And so anyways, but yeah, check out Hooper's. Go talk to Anthony. He's over there in the office. He's the owner. Him and I believe Ryan. So go ahead and go see those guys. They really kind of hooked me up. So this whole thing, this rebuild, now mind you, it didn't need anything other than bearings. So but they got it all painted up, new seals, new bearings, and it was like $500. So I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it cheaper myself. So anyways, I just want to show you guys where this place is. They've been here forever. I don't know, about 40 years probably. So, you know, come check them out. So let's take a look at how we did, or how they did, rather. Like I said, they're a family-owned business, and kind of glad to support them. I can definitely tell this has got the correct preload on it. It's much tighter than it was, but it feels right to me. The little things that you notice when somebody else does something for you, which is nice. They replaced these lock nuts, and I know because when I changed the axle seals before, somebody had been in here already one time before. You remember when I did the disc brakes, I came back here and I changed the axle seals, since I needed to change the wheel cylinders anyways. And somebody had like mixed the hardware and stuff. These guys put the correct lock nuts on. This is actually looks factory to me, these crush type lock nuts. So that's nice. They painted the backing plates. You know, everything feels really right with this thing. I mean, it's like new. Here I was thinking that getting parts for these was impossible, but that was wrong. So, pretty easy to get back in from here. Not bad at all. I'm gonna probably. I ended up not using my trans jack, by the way. I just used the. Floor jack. You know, right there. Yeah, balance it on there. This thing's so light, you know. I just picked it up. I picked it up out of the back of the truck and I set it on the jack stands here. So yeah, we'll balance it on there. I don't think I'm going to put the wheel cylinders or anything on it now. I think I'll do that all when it's in there. I would like to get it in today, at least set it on the springs. I'm kind of busy today. I'm not going to have time to work on it this evening. I got meetings and stuff. But anyways, yeah, it's unloaded here, and we'll get it shoved back in. All right. So this will be kind of fun. Why don't you guys watch me struggle to put this thing back in by myself? It's almost like the price I have to pay for not showing you how to rebuild it myself. So here we go. We'll do it real time here, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna laze out again, and I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna release the springs or anything. I'm just gonna put it back in the way that it came out. So here we go. Now let's see if I can do it without dropping it. And I'm doing this in shorts and sandals too, which is absolutely brilliant. As a guy who's usually in charge of safety, I'm not doing this as safe as I could have, but that's okay. All right. Let's see. Now, in order for this to go back in, I've got to get that end is actually that side, that plate is going to drag on the ground a little bit. It's the only way to get it in. It won't hurt anything. It's just going to scratch up the paint. Everything's in my way. Okay. plug out of the brake line. There's fluid going everywhere. Okay. Almost. The nice thing about this rear end, the way that this particular leaf spring setup is, there's a locating pin on the springs. Let's see if I can't get this on top of this pin on this side so I can slide it over. I might stick a wrench in here. Oh wait, no, I think I got it. I'll get the other side now. Come on, there it is. All right, I got that pin in. This would be so much easier with two people. But I'm a lone guy right now. Not a lonely guy, just a lone guy. All right, we're sitting on the pins. So let me go grab the plates and throw the U-bolts into it. All right, grabbed one plate. Make sure you get the right plates in the right places because they are mirror images of each other. For right now, I'm just going to make sure the shock's out of the way. This all looks good, so take the nuts off of the new U-bolts. By the way, something else I didn't show earlier, I went ahead and I lacquered these. I like the fact that I wanted to leave them looking steel. I didn't want to make everything black. So, like I said, I went ahead and made them and put brass lacquer on them, which, by the way, brass lacquer works fine on steel. So, all right, hopefully those line up like they're supposed to. Let's see. Working blind on one side. Pretty much lines up like it's supposed to. Now, when you do these, you kind of got to pay attention. You want to make sure that you do them evenly because you can pull the U-bolt. What I mean by pulling the U-bolt is you can pull it to one side or the other. We don't want to do that. So we want to torque them evenly. These go to like 35 or 40 foot-pounds is fine on these. But I'm not going to do that right now because I can't. I'm going to run out of time here. But I just wanted to get one of these in here to keep it from rotating. So when we come back, we'll go ahead and get the other side in, and we'll get it. We'll go ahead and get it torqued up, and I'll show you how to do that. So. But that's it. I mean, you see, it didn't have to struggle with it all that much. I didn't drop the springs or anything. It's just, it's in. Not hard at all. All right, just to give you guys the best view in the house, I got both of them on now. I haven't torqued them yet, though, but I wanted to show you what I mean. These all have about the same amount of thread sticking out. I know that that would seem obvious to most people, but not everyone, right? So I want to make sure I made that really clear. You don't want to tighten one all the way down and have one really short, because then the U-bolt isn't loaded ideally, and you're going to bend it. And if you bend it, it can actually fatigue it, and it can snap. So, you know, just make sure you got these even. But so far, everything's going just like it should. So let me go grab the torque wrench. And we're going to take these up 35, 40 foot-pounds. I think the Ford manual, I think, even states that it's got a range or something. I forget. It doesn't matter. It's not that critical, you know. These are a locking type nut. It's really just important that they don't come loose. You don't want to over-torque them because you could snap it, but, you know, 35, 40 foot-pounds, no problem. All right, I'm going to take them up to 40 just because these will easily take 40, so why not? And I'm going to step them kind of by hand. I'm not going to set the torque wrench and step it. I'm just going to do it by feel. But I'm just going to take it a little bit, kind of, you know, a little bit at a time. What it's going to do here, especially if you're replacing your springs, it definitely will do this. You're going to compress the springs when this is happening. So there's going to be some give before it finally clicks. And that is exactly what it's doing right now. I can feel it compressing. Now it's starting to get tight. But you see how I'm doing them evenly as I do it, as I go. The other thing is, new hardware, these long U-bolts, they're going to stretch. Just a little bit. There, that was 40. Still there. This side is pulling more, which is not good. There it is. All right, they're still even though. All right, we got 40 on those, and we got 40 there, and we got 40 there. Cool. All right, this side's torqued down. Let's. I'll go ahead and I'll do the other side. You don't need to see it twice, and then we'll put the shocks in. You know, that's not too hard. You know, actually, just do this one right here. You know. Super easy. Just compress it by hand, shove it up in there, no problem. All right, we'll be back with brake assembly. I didn't show that before when I did the brakes, so I should show it this time. Why not? Brakes, brakes, where are the brakes? Ah! Any Star Tours fans out there? Maybe not. Anyways, brake lines are in. I went ahead and I put the wheel cylinders back in. I put the drive shaft back in. No real magic there. Same thing kind of goes with the drive shaft. When you go to install that, tighten them evenly. You know, don't tighten it down on one side. That one, it won't pull it around the way that it's designed, but still tighten it evenly. That way it loads it. You don't want to crank down on one side because you'll stretch it. So we got that guy in, no problem. And a tip for that too, you know, once you get them kind of snugged down, throw it, you're going to want it in neutral to be able to rotate it around and make it easier to get to. And you won't be able to get the U-bolt in because of the angle, the drive shaft angle. It's going to have to be, well, at least the way I've got it suspended here up on the jack stands. You're going to have to put the U-bolt in from the bottom, so you have to turn it 180 degrees to get them both in. But just tighten them up evenly. Those are German torque spec. I can't even do my own joke right. You know, guten tight. So those are all snugged up. Don't wail on them. You know, they're only 5/16 fine. Just, you know, get a good feel on those. Let's see, I said brake lines are in. All right, I think that we're ready to put the brakes back together. And this is a part that I'll show just because these are a little bit, you know, well, everybody's kind of scared of drum brakes. And even, you know, I don't know, I've done more drum brakes than you can even imagine. But, you know, I still fumble through them sometimes. Which spring goes on front? Which I don't remember which colors are which anymore. And, well, I'm colorblind, first of all. And second of all, the colors of these are totally faded and everything because they're old. But we'll go ahead and we'll show you how to put it back together here. All right, trying to find the right angle with this camera is like trying to find One-Eyed Willie's treasure. Okay, first thing that we're gonna do, and I'm starting off totally fresh with this. I didn't put anything together yet other than the wheel cylinders. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to reinsert the emergency brake cable. I don't think I showed pulling these out before, but these quite simply just have little clips that's integral to it. They just snap in. That's all you got to do is put it in here, put it through the hole, and snap it in. They're a hell of a lot harder to get out than they are to get in. You kind of got to fight with them so to get them out. But this will just... Well, I might have spoke too soon there. I got it. There. One side in. There. Okay. So e-brake cable is reinstalled. It just snaps in like I said. So we got that. Before we do anything else, there are surfaces on here, and it's going to be a little hard for you to see, but there are surfaces on here where the brake shoes ride. And you're going to notice these little raised pads in these areas right here. Why am I even doing this? There's probably 4 million videos on... whatever. Anyways. At any rate, put grease on these pads. You'll notice, like on mine, you probably... I don't know, you may or may not be able to see it, but it's painted black, so you probably can't see it. They're grooved pretty good, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. Some people use white lithium grease. I don't like white lithium grease because the stuff dries out. I prefer to use moly grease. That's just my preference. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I like to use. So we're just going to put a little bit on these surfaces where the shoes ride. And what that does is, remember, the shoes have to slide in and out, right? The short shoe on this side, long shoe on this side. They have to ride on here when they move in and out, because they kind of move like this. And the wheel cylinder pushes them out, right? So that just makes it so they slide a little bit easier. Don't put a lot of it on here. I mean, I'm talking just a thin coat. You can see I'm just like painting it on here. I really only just got a little bit of grease. All right, that's done. The first thing that you want to do when if you're putting new shoes in, you know, you might have to take the e-brake bracket off of the one. But the first thing you're going to want to do is hang the shoe that's got the e-brake bracket on it, which is going to be the rear shoe. See if I can show this. I kind of left the springs on there just so I'd remember where everything went. Although, take pictures, you know, always take pictures when you take these apart. But I think I remember it pretty well. But anyways, this is the e-brake bracket right here. And there's a little bendy clip on this side that they kind of give you when you get new shoes, so you can, because you have to swap out the bracket. But anyways, I'm using my shoes over because there's nothing wrong with them. So we're just gonna put them back on. But anyways, you have to move that bracket over if you're gonna do that. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is reinsert that on the cable, and there really isn't a whole lot to this. You got to slide it back. You have to slide the spring back that's on the e-brake cable, and it's probably gonna be a little hard for me to show it, but yes, just slide that spring back and you snap the cable down snap it down into the little hook that's there. And these can be a little devil to get on there. You know, trying to do it one hand can be really challenging. That wasn't too bad. So it's in there. Okay, see how the spring is up against the back, and the lug is on here on the other side. Okay, so that's the first thing that you want to do. Then comes the fun part. And this, I always hate doing these, and I don't have the right drum brake tools here at home. I try to avoid drum brakes, but in this setup, I can't avoid it. I wasn't going to put disc brakes in the rear of this thing. Who knows? They probably don't even make a rear. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. But drums are totally fine. This thing's got way more brake than it needs now with those Willwoods on the front. So you've got the first thing you got to do is take your pins. Okay, these are the pins. Drop these through the holes right here. It's pretty obvious where they go. Okay. I'm sure I'm going to forget something, too, in doing this. I'm going to get halfway through it and I'm going to go, what the hell? But the first thing we're going to do is put the rear shoe on. And like I said, I mentioned it before, the long shoe goes in the rear and the short shoe goes in the front. And what I mean by that is you'll notice the friction material is shorter on the front and longer on the rear. That's all that means. Okay, that's just how all drum brakes are. Keep that in mind. All right, so we've got the shoe, and I'm realizing you're not gonna be able to see me lock this one on this side, but this is probably, I'd say, the hardest part. The springs, actually, I don't think personally, I don't think that the springs are as hard as it is getting these damn retainers in here. These things can be a real pain in the ass. But on these, it goes through this hole right here. So you got to put the pin. Might be easier if I just take the spring off of there. It's easier to show it. You kind of got to fight with this thing a little bit. And I'm curious what I'm forgetting. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But anyways, take that and you put the pin through that hole right there. Okay, and this is where it gets fun trying to do this one-handed. Then you get to take your spring and you take they call these beehive springs. You take the smaller side and you put it on the pin, and if everything fits right, that smaller beehive should fit inside of the hole that's on the brake shoe, and it does. Then, if you don't have the right retainer tool, like me, I just use slip joint pliers, and I grab it with my slip joint pliers as I'm holding it. And if I recall, this one was kind of a bitch to get it back in. It just didn't want to cooperate. And I think that these might not be the right springs for this because they're compressed pretty damn far, and they really shouldn't be. But I don't know. It's what came off of it, and I kind of just assumed it was right. It's not like I have to really force it, but it could be a little bit more loose than it is. So anyways, let's grab our retainer, and the way these work, they're like a quarter turn deal. I'm sure you'll notice it when you look at them. You put it, it's got a straight slot in it, and the pin's got a straight end on it, and you just turn it a quarter turn. And that's it. It's in. So this actually fits better than I thought, than I remembered. Okay, so the next thing that goes in that is very commonly forgotten is the emergency brake. The emergency brake stop. So what this thing does is this is what the emergency brake pushes up against from this side. So that little bracket that was in there pushes up against this fork right here and forces the other shoe. It forces the shoes apart is really what it does. I can't tell you how many times I've done one of these and I forgot to put that in there. So you put that in there, lay that in, because you're going to want it in there when you put the next shoe in. Now, the adjuster, I always do that. You know, this is just me. You know, people got different opinions on things. I prefer to put the adjuster in after I put the other shoe in. I don't know if there's really another way to do it unless you try and fight it at the same time. That just seems ridiculous to me, you know. Put the other shoe in, but what you won't be able to put in is the e-brake, e-brake spreader. So take the other brake shoe and we're going to put it on next. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. Always check. Just double check when you think about it when you're doing this. You know, make sure that you're not forgetting. Look around at the parts you've got too and go, oh, am I forgetting anything? But it doesn't appear that I am. So, okay. Let's put the next shoe on. Waiting for the next shoe to drop. And get that e-brake spreader up where it's supposed to be. The other shoe popped out. This is why I hate drum brakes. They can be so frustrating because everything's got to just go in just right, and if it doesn't, you're just freaking hating life. All right, got that. Okay, I got my pin sticking out here. Let's get our spring and retainer. Get this spring out of the way. Probably just be smart to take the springs off. I just didn't want to lose where everything went. All right, this one, the beehive went in. Seems to fit okay. It could be better. That's probably why I remember battling one of these, because beehive doesn't quite fit. So this one's gonna fight me. I can just see it right now. Retainer. Yeah, of course everything's all falling apart. I hate these things. Just hate these damn things. Let me see if I can just get this in here and then I'll... Alright, come on, go all the way around. Okay, got that in. Now let's try and get the e-brake spreader in. It's probably, if a mechanic watches this, does this every day. Unlike me, I used to do these every day. Don't anymore. Not for years now. You know, they're probably laughing, but you know, it's just the way these things are. They're just a bitch. Okay, that's, I think, probably, in my opinion, that's probably the hardest part. So now it's kind of optional how you put the rest of this stuff together. You know, I'm going to put the adjuster in next. But all the other springs and everything, I don't think there's really a particular order that they have to go in. You got to get this spring attaches to the adjuster right here. So this goes in here and that goes there, but we're going to put the adjuster in first. So, and by the way, because this is on this side, right, this is the automatic adjuster right here. It means that the ratchet for the automatic adjuster goes that direction. And there is a left and a right. And if you take the cover off of these, usually they say, this one says right. And it has an R for right. So we're on the right side of the car. Or, yeah. Just making sure. So how you can tell, these should screw out. It should extend when you rotate it. When you rotate it this way, that's going to make it ratchet. That's how this works. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame here. That's how this works. Okay. So that's another way to tell if they don't say what they are. You want to make sure that the way that it's going to end up ratcheting is the way that it's going to go out, because that's how the self-adjusters work. So let's go ahead and put the adjuster in here. Hopefully it stays. And okay, we're going to need the cable here in a second, and we're going to want to put this spring back in here. Okay. Here's the adjuster. Here's the spring for the adjuster. So you want to get this up in here like this. And we're going to get our hook also in there. That's how these things work. I always forget the best way to... This is what I'm talking about, where I'm going to fumble through this a little bit, because I always forget the best way to get these things in here. They're very fussy. Okay, got that all situated, and see, this is what I'm talking about. I know I was going to forget something. You got to put this in first before you put the cable loop on there. You put this on there first. Okay. This might not be the right way to do this. Let's see. Put this in here. This is not feeling familiar from the last time that I did this. And I might be putting something in the wrong place. I don't know what yet, but something doesn't feel right. Let's see. That's correct. This should be right here. That should be there. Isn't this fun? You just get to watch me look like an idiot putting drum brakes on my car. Yeah, this definitely... You definitely do this. You do this, you put that there, you put this here. And it doesn't want to go. Fuck drum brakes. Oh, we got our first F-bomb. And that's the first one in this whole job. I lasted quite a while too. I did pretty good. But I couldn't do the whole job without it, because just really do not like doing these goddamn things. Okay, there. Finally got that. See if we can do it without the whole thing falling apart on me. All right. Okay, got it. So there you have it. Put the spring in here, through the adjuster, ratchet right here. Get that all situated, and then put the cable on. That'll get you where you need to be. Okay. So what parts we got left over? We got 2 springs that have to go back on, and then that's it. That gets this thing back together. And let me see. This guy goes here, I believe. It does. Now what I don't remember is... I'm trying to remember which one goes in the front, and I think it's this one. So now comes the fun part, and here's where you can really kind of knuckle bust yourself if you're not careful. You know, I'm not using the right tool for this. Vice grip is just convenience. That's what I got. I'm probably going to go back and look at my photos and realize that I put the wrong spring on, but I don't think so. I'm looking at this, and it seems like I'm doing this correct, but one of these springs is in front, one's behind, I think. But I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter. I don't remember. Okay, reassembled. Now, you'll notice I had the adjuster all the way in. That just makes this just so much easier to get this whole thing back together. So I'm going to take it out a little ways, and we'll fit the drum up. You want to get the drum to where it'll just barely slide on. That way you're not wrenching on this adjuster with the brake spoon, or as I so appropriately call it, the flat blade screwdriver. You don't want to have to be doing that forever, because that's just painful. You know, it takes forever. You just get it as close as you can to where the drum just barely wants to go on. And I can already tell we got to go quite a ways. These shoes are old, so they're not... I've got to take the adjuster out a little ways here. Let's see. And you just keep doing it. You don't have to do it this way. I'm trying to save you guys time. Yeah, we still got a little ways to go. It's funny, these shoes have got a lot of meat left on them. So... there we go. Alright. Just barely. Look at that. Perfect. Alright. There's one drum assembled for you. So it's the next morning. Brake on the driver's side is now installed. Didn't think of anything that I missed yesterday, so no updates for you there. I vacuum bled the brakes because I don't have anybody here to help me right now, which is probably fine-ish. I might have somebody help me bleed them later. I don't think I missed anything else, so let me see. We got the vent tube back installed, which goes through the brake line. I think, let's see, I got the shocks tightened up. Yeah, I think we are ready to put the wheels back on. All right, we got her lowered down off of our sterile Coney lifts. we're gonna fire it up now, and the biggest thing that I want to see is I know there was too much backlash in it before, so I bet when I put this thing into gear, it's going to be quiet now because it would clunk pretty good. So let's give it a shot. And by the way, it's been a week since I last started this thing, so which isn't very long. You know, there's guys that go months without starting fuel injected vehicles, but again, you know, we'll just do a cold start on it here. We're at 65, if it'll focus. Come on. Focus. There it is. 65 degrees. 65, 66 degrees. Not very cold. It was very warm yesterday. So. And there she is. The other thing I didn't mention too, while it was shut down, the last day I drove it home from work, I noticed the oil pressure was really low, and that surprised me. And I looked at my mechanical gauge under the hood, and it was reading 40 psi, so I knew that something was up. So I was watching the oil pressure; it was really low. And I just took my my knife, you know, and just tapped on the sending unit, and the oil pressure shot up to like where it is right there. So I knew that the new sending unit was bad. So I ordered up another one to replace that already. So that's the second one that's gone bad. You know, the standard motor product seems to be the only one that's out there, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in those. So anyways, we swapped that out. But all right, well, it's fired up now. It's not really up to temp yet, but let's see what this rear end sounds like. Let's see here. Reverse. Yep, okay. And forward. Oh yeah. No clunk. Much better. Wow. Okay. Well, cool. Well, we'll test drive it next. I gotta shuffle stuff around, but you know, that's probably just about gonna wrap this one up. Otherwise, you know, again, I'm doing you guys a disservice because I didn't do it myself, but it just didn't make sense. My time and the cost, it just made sense to have the pros do it. So, anyways, we'll take it out on a test drive here. Oh yeah, she's a cruiser now. It doesn't clunk when it downshifts anymore. It's silent. So definitely worth doing. And you know, it's cost effective. There's a lot of guys that are saying, you know, convert to 8.8 and 8-inch. Although the 8-inch isn't too hard. You just need different axles. But if you're rebuilding stock, I think this is the way to go. If your ring and pinion are in good shape, and according to my local guy, they're not hard to get. He had them on the shelf already. So, you know, yeah, I don't know, maybe they're not as hard to get as everybody says. So, anyways, you know, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up.